Hello and good day. Welcome to the part 3 of our Excel VBA user form tutorial. So previously we have finished the sign up user form, and for this video or for this tutorial we need to work with a login user form. So before that we need to rename another sheet. I will name it home. So here we need to have a start button here that will call the login user form. So I'll just use shape for that, and this. So I'm not good in designing actually, and this is the part that I'm not really excited when I'm working with when I'm creating any tool. So I'll just add a start label there. Okay, is there no other format here that I can use? Okay, I think that's good for now. So I'll just change the font, make it bold, and let's color this background. I'll be using black, and let's have that center and extended. And now let's hide the other columns that we don't need. Okay, and after that let's go back to the VBA editor again by pressing Alt F11, and here we need to add another user form. So just right click and select insert user form. Now we need to change again. First thing is the name of this user form, so this will be FRM login, and of course the caption, this should be changed to login, and make sure to add a background color first before adding any control. Okay, so here need to add a label for username, so I'll just change the caption to username, and of course the font property, so let's make it bigger, and of course the for color I will be using white, and let's adjust it here, and of course the text box for the username. So again, select this icon and drag to your user form. Okay, so sometimes you will find it very difficult to drag this text box into the exact position that you want. So if ever you encounter that situation, you can have it adjusted by selecting of course the object or control and look for the top property. So here you can change this. So if I want to move it down more, I'll just add value. Example is this. So now it's aligned with my label. So of course let's not forget to change its name property into txt username, and of course another field for the password. So I will just copy this to object or control, and let's change the caption into password, and of course the name of this text box into txt password. Let's move it down more. Okay, and here we need to add a two button, so one for login and of course one for cancel. So let's name it cmd login, and of course change the caption to login and the font property as well. Let's make it more bigger and bold, and let's just copy it for the cancel button. So make sure to change its name property into cmd cancel and the caption to cancel here. Okay, and of course if you don't have an account yet, you need to have a way to go through the sign up user form. So in order to do that, we will be adding a label here that will serve as a link to show the sign up user form. So well, I think I can just copy this label, so I'll just copy that here and change the caption of course to sign up, and we need to change the font style of this label. So I'll be using okay, for this one. And I think I forgot to use the underline, so if you want to underline that, just select this. And of course the font color, I think it's better if we can make it like blue. Oh, it's not visible. Let's use this one. Okay, so here once I click it, I'll should be redirected to the sign up user form. Okay, so since we have that label now, I think this is the first thing that we need to add the code. So let me just name it LBL label sign up. So once I click that, so let's now double click this label and add the code. So let's have unload me and then frm sign up that show. That's the only code for that. So let's try it. So once you click that label, this user form should show and the login form should be unloaded. Okay. Oh, I think I missed the code here. Later we'll work on that. So now, here in the login, the first thing that we need to make sure, of course, same with the sign up form, is to make sure that all fields have a value. But before I forget, make sure to change the password car property of our password field. So I'll be using asterisk character again. And okay, so now let's check if both fields are populated when the user click the login. So just double click the login button. And same with the sign up form, we need the m fields variable. Initial value should be null. So the first thing that we will check is the txt username. Then if ever it is equals to null, let's add a value to our m fields variable. Same with our txt password. Okay, and now let's check what is the value of our m fields. If it's not equals to null, it means that something is missing. So let's give a message box to the user. So before that, I need to declare another constant variable for the message box title. So I'll be using private constant m title, that stands for message box title, and it is a string data type. So the value of it should be like enow. Okay, so now let's add message box that below field or fields are blank, and let's add VB new line, and let's concatenate whatever the value of our m fields variable. This should be a critical message, and let's use the m title variable. So let's just check that one. Click this icon and make sure that the password field is set to have a password character. Okay, I think it's working because there's no pop-up. Okay, the validation is working. So the next thing that we need to do is to make sure that the username that that was inserted is available in our user database. So we'll need to add an else statement. Okay, and check the user database. So since we need to deal with this worksheet, I would need to declare that worksheet again. So I'll be using ush as worksheet and set the value of this variable to user worksheet. And now we need to create a loop for a. It should start with row 2 because that's the first row with the account value, and the end of the loop should be equals to whatever the last row with a value in our user worksheet. Okay, so now let's have an if statement that if ush that range b, so this is that, and whatever the value of a variable is equals to the txt username value, then okay, I think we missed to add another mm, variable here. Let's use is exists. So initial value is equals to false. So if ever there's a match in that username, we will change the value of exist variables into true, meaning that the username is valid, and we'll end the loop by using the exit for command. In here we need to check if whatever the value what is the value of our is exist variable. So if exist is equals to false, it means that the account is not valid, so we need to have a message backups on that saying account is, or invalid account for short, and that should be a critical message. And let's use the mtitle variable again. So let's check if this works. So we'll be using, for example, Albert uses any password, so it will tell you that the account is invalid. But let's try to use JJ and click login. Nothing happened because the username is valid. Okay, so if ever that the username is valid, the next thing that we need to ensure is that the password associated with this username is the same with the password that is provided in our login user form. Okay, so if ever that the username is valid, we need to have here in our loop, I forget, we need to have here a variable that will represent the password of the username. So let's call it string, and the initial value should be null. So if this exists is equals to true, we need to add value to this variable, and so that's column C. And I think we also need to add the login name. Okay, so for the login name, please make sure to uh, follow this. So for the login name, I will separate the variable that will hold the value of the login name, and doing that I will need to insert a new module, not user form, not class module, it's a module, and I will call it my variables, and here is where I will declare the login variable. So I'll be using public constant login name as string, and let's okay, public constant login name as string. Okay, let's not use constant for that. Login name as string. So I'll declare that using module, so it will be accessible in all the user form that we have. So going back to the login, since we have now that variable declared, I will use that now. Login name is equals to whatever the value of the range for the column A. Okay, so now if ever the username is existing or valid, the next thing that we need to do to check is if the password is correct. So if txt password value is equals to the value of our password variable, then, but I think instead of using equal, let's use not equal to the value of our what password variable. Then if ever that did not match, there should be a message box saying that invalid account, and title. And if ever the value of txt password and w password variable match, we should have a message box here. Welcome to the profile tool, and there should be a information icon. Okay, and here in the invalid account field, if ever the user encountered that, we need to clear the value of both text box, and of course set the focus to the username field. Okay, and I will just copy that for this one. Okay, I think this is all for the login, but of course, okay, I think that should be added later. That's going on my mind. Okay, let's now try this. So I'll click this and make an invalid account. So valid account, that both fields are cleared, and now let's use a valid account. So once I click login, welcome to the profile tool, and nothing happened. Okay, this should be unloaded. So right now, unload me. Later we'll be adding another code to that, and we need to associate that user form or that code into the start button. So I'll just need to click this instead of doing it in the VBA editor. So in order to do that, I'll add the code into the module my variable which we just created. So here I'll create a sub to show login, and what are we going to do is to just add a parent login that show. So right now we have a sub for that. So here just select the shape, right click and assign macro, and then select the show login, which was the sub that we just created, and select OK here. And now you can see that when we click it, it will show the login user form. And before I forget, here in the sign up user form, we don't have the code for the cancel. So just add end, and it will just terminate basically the program. So if we click sign up, cancel, cancel. Okay, here's another one, the login cancel. So make sure to add an end here, and let's check it. Sign up, check. Okay, so that's all for the login user form. The next user form that we need to create is the add new profile. So please watch out for the next video.